Now, imperative, addressive, and cohortative. So do not be afraid of these terms. They're not very scary. It is just terms or grammatical terms, and we will understand what they mean very soon. So, but first of all, let's try to understand the imperative. So I hope all of you understand what imperative is. Imperative is a kind of command. So for example, in English, like go, take, bring, this kind of commands that we usually use. But what we need to remember, the imperative is possible or command we can give only to the second person, to you. So we cannot give command to the third person, to him or to her. We cannot give a command to ourselves. Yes, so we can give command only to the second person. And imperative in Hebrew is done in very easy way. So in order to make an imperative, what you need to have a verb in yiktol, and you need to remove the prefix, and you will have imperative. For example, tiktol, you will kill. In order to make imperative, we just need to remove the prefix, and we will have imperative ke-tol. The same with the feminine. So they will have different forms of imperative, not like in English, because in English we have only one, like go and everybody. It can address everybody. But in English, they have different forms imperative depending on to whom the person is addressing. If I address a person who is male, masculine, so imperative would be ke-tol. If I address a woman, it would be kitli. So kitli is from tikteli, and we just remove the first prefix, and we will have kitli. So why we have kitli but not ketli? Because we have two shevas conflict, and we have two shevas here, and it is impossible to have two shevas in the beginning of the word. That is why the first sheva is transformed to hirak. And the same happens in this form. You, if I want to say to plural, to man, to many men, kill, so it will be kitlu. So the same, we take the imperfect or yiktol and remove the prefix, and we have the form of imperative. That is why the yiktol conjugation is very important, because based on these conjugations, other forms of the verb are done. So that is why it is very important to remember this conjugation. So, and similar, we have the imperative of the second feminine plural. Now, let us practice a little bit. Let us practice. And what I would like to do, I will open a board for you. Can you see it? And we have, for example, the root shamar. And you remember what this root means? How can you do imperative from this root shamar?
Won't you first need to put it in yiktol?
Okay, let's put it in yiktol. How it will be in yiktol?
Tishma.
Again?
Tishma.
Yishmor. Okay.
Tishmor.
Yishmor. And we need to put it in the second person for example, masculine.
Masculine.
Yes. So it will be
Tishmor.
Tishmor. Now, what is the form of imperative?
Shemor.
Shemor. Very well. Shemor is imperative. So do you see? It's very easy. Imperative usually will start from Sheva or from Hirek, Shemor. So how to say to a woman, keep or protect, or how to say Shemor, how
Shemori?
address it to the woman?
Shemori.
Not okay. She, and second will
Shimori.
be Sheva.
Oh, Shimri, sorry.
Yes, Shimri. Shimri, it will be a command addressed to a woman. Okay, so let's try to do the same with another word. Zahar. Do you remember what Zahar means? Zechariah comes from the same root. Remember. Okay, so how to say remember to a man? Maybe you can try without making these intermediate steps, but to say it immediately.
Zechor.
Zechor, very well, Zechor. Zechor. So it starts with the Sheva. The thematic vowel is Cholem, so Zechor. Okay. Okay.
Zechri.
Zichri, very well, Zichri. Zichri. Okay, correct. So how to say to man in plural? Remember. Okay, let me do it the form tis.
Say here now.
Ti Zachor. Tis he ri. Oh, no, not ri. Ru. Sorry. Ru.
Yeah.
Ru. Yes. So if we remove taf, it will be
Zichru.
Zichru. Correct. Oh, sorry, something wrong. Zichru. Zichru. Correct. How can we do it for the women in plural? The same command.
Zichrena.
Z, oh no, ze, okay. Ze, chor,
Zechorna.
zechorna. Okay, very well, zechorna. Okay, so I hope it is now clear, and I hope it is not very difficult for you.
Can we do one more word with all of them again?
Okay,
Just
let's
to
do
practice
it.
for the second time, the last one.
Okay. Which word? Okay, malach. Oh, sorry, malach. Malach means to
rule, to reign.
Rule, to reign, to be a king. Yes. Okay. Malach. So how can I say to a man, be a king or rule?
Meloch.
Meloch. Correct. Meloch. Okay. How can I say the same to the woman?
Milchi.
Milchi. And how can I say to many men? Be kings or rule. So do you see it will be the same, only the suffix will be different. It will be not e, but it will be u.
Milhu, milhu.
Yes, milhu,
Who?
milhu. And how can I say to many women? Just rule, reign.
No.
Melochna.
Okay, very well. Melochna. I need to tell you that this imperative, feminine imperative, doesn't occur very often. But this one, yes, so all others, you can find them very often in the Bible. Okay, so this is, I hope this is not very difficult. This is not very difficult. And in your, again, in your lesson, you will have an assignment, and I would like to show it to you. Just a minute, please. I want to be sure that you so this is the material that we discussed right now, and after that you will have some questions. Translate a verb and provide a morphological description. For example, ase, do, a second masculine singular. So can you tell me this one, imri? How can you translate it? It is from the word, from the verb amar.
Amar.
Amar means
Say.
to say.
Speak. Oh,
Sorry.
so it's speak.
Second.
Second person, feminine,
Speak,
Second.
singular.
second,
Feminine singular.
singular.
Feminine singular.
Okay, and because it is imperative, don't forget to put exclamation mark. Okay?
Oh,
And
okay.
let us see, will it correct or not? Yeah, it is correct because it gave me another one. So, re-e, how you can translate? So, do you see the distinctive feature of imperative is shiva?
Sí,
Si.
Yes.
sí.
Look,
And of course, it's always second,
second person, masculine singular.
masculine singular, and don't forget exclamation mark.
Okay.
Correct. So, shma.
Listen.
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 Second person, masculine singular.
Second.
Okay. So I hope you understood how to do this assignment. Okay,
Yes,
I will
sir.
not continue. Now, this is, everything is okay, but the problem is usually we have with the weak verbs. And now let us discuss how the imperative is done for the weak verbs. Okay, so first of all, the simplest case is when we have the first letter of the root of the verb guttural. So in this case, of course, guttural letter cannot take shiva. And what happened in this case? If we have a guttural letter, so the shiva is substituted with the compound shiva. So do you see it here? It is supposed to be shiva here, but because ein is a guttural letter, so instead of shiva, we have a compound shiva. And the same is here. And this form and this form remain the same. There is no problem with these forms. Is it clear?
Yes.
Kindly
Prof.
repeat, sir.
Okay, again, do you see, you understood that we usually have shiva here. But because it is a guttural letter cannot take shiva. So in this case, because guttural letters cannot take shiva, the shiva is transformed to a compound shiva. So it will be hatef patach here. Here
Okay.
and here, so these two forms where shiva is supposed to be, it is substituted or it is transformed to a compound shiva. But this form, where we have originally we had two shivas, but one is transformed to hirik, so it remained the same. It remains the same. So it is not. It doesn't change. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
and now what is interesting? It is interesting to see how the words with the first yud, verbs with the first yud, make the infinitive. Actually, the rule is the same. We remove the prefix, and we will have imperative. For example, yashav means to sit, to dwell, to live. The imperfect or ictal form will be teshev, teshvi, teshvu, teshavna. So imperative will be just the same. We remove taf, we remove the prefix, and we have the form of the imperative. For example, if I want to say sit or dwell here, I will say shev. If I say to a woman, it will be shevi. If I say to many men, it will be shevu. And here a little bit different. Shevna is for women in plural, but it doesn't occur very often. So is it clear? Shall we practice a little bit how to make imperatives from the verbs with the first yud?
Yeah.
Yes, we may, Prof.
Okay, let's do it. Just I will remove this one and make a new one. Okay, so which word we will take?
Yatsa.
Again?
Yatsa.
Yatsar. Okay.
To go out. Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Yatsa or yatsa, yes?
Mhm.
Like this one. What does it mean, yatsa?
To go out.
To go out. Okay. So let's, what shall we do? Tell us make first the form of imperfect or ictal.
Titse.
Tete. Okay. So now let's make a form of imperative.
Te.
Te.
Se. Correct. This is imperative. And how can we translate it?
Go out. Second person masculine singular.
Okay, so there is a good question from Pastor Isaac. Prof, how do we detect the imperative in Hebrew? Because I'm seeing you are placing exclamation mark, which is not indicated in Hebrew. Yeah, it's true. In Hebrew, we do not have any kind of question marks or exclamation marks. And the only thing that we can understand that this is imperative is by the form of the verb. So if we see tse, it means that this is imperative. So most probably when we translate, we need to use exclamation mark. But in Hebrew, they just didn't use it. Okay. Okay, so let's try to do the same with another form. I mean, not you, but you feminine.
Did it say E?
Say E, yes. Say E. Just a minute, I will just want to be sure. How can you do for man plural?
Sina.
That's feminine.
Oh, just
You.
one mistake. It will be like this. Say E and say U.
You. You.
Okay, another verb, yarat, for example.
Two.
What does yarat mean?
To give birth.
To
No,
go,
yalad.
Oh, sorry.
go down. To go,
Go
down.
down.
To go down.
Okay, very well, to go down. Okay, yarat means to go down. So how can we say go down? Okay, let's first do you will go down. You will go down Pered. So
Red.
just remember that Yud, what happens to Yud? Yud is hidden here. We normally should have one dot, Hirak, but because Yud disappeared, so we have a compensation. And Hirak is lengthened to Tsered. And usually when we have Tsere here, it will be an indicator in many cases that this is the verb with the first Yud. So what is the imperative?
Red.
Red. Okay.
Ready.
And how can we say for a woman, go down?
Ready with Shua.
Ready. Yes. Ready. For many men.
Redu.
Redu. Redu. And for many women.
Redona.
Probably,
Redina. Sorry.
Redna, yes, most probably Redna or Radna, but it seems to me we do not have this form of imperative in Hebrew Bible. because as I told you, this form occurs quite rare. But redna, most probably redna. Yeah. Okay, so I think it is clear now. We can go further. Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, we need to remember that two verbs, halach and natan, they make imperative in the same way as the verbs with the first yud. So it is, and this imperative lech, it occurs very, very often. So you should remember that lech, it means to go. Ten means give. And we can try, let's try to do it orally. For example, lech means to go. For a woman, how do you say?
Lechi.
Lehi. For many men,
Lechu.
Lehu.
lehu. And for many women,
Lehna.
lechna. So the same as ten, teni, tenu, and oh yeah, that one is difficult, but it seems to me it doesn't occur in the Bible. Lechna occurs, but tena, no, I don't remember. Okay, so now we have another very tricky class of the verbs, and these are verbs with the first nun. And you remember we have two classes of these verbs, nun first class and nun second class. For the verbs with the nun first class, the imperative is normal. So actually, yictol form is tipol, but nun appears again in the form of imperative, and imperative will be just like a normal. Ne, fol, ni, fli, ni, flu, and ne, fol, na. But the verbs that which occur more often are the verbs with the second nun class, and those verbs have the same. So when we want to make a form of imperative, we just need to remove the prefix from yictol, and nagash, root nagash, and we will have gash, geshi, geshu, and gashna. Okay. So this is the only difference. We need to remember which root, which class is this. So, but now for the practical reasons, for the practical considerations. So if you have a root, and the root has only two letters, and you suspect that this is imperative, so it could be either first nun or first yud. So you understand this?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. And imperative of the verb haya, it doesn't occur very often, but sometimes it occurs. It is very irregular, so it's the best way is just to remember, because it's very difficult to explain all those changes in this imperative. Okay, so we now just in general considered the imperatives of the weak verbs. Not all the classes of the weak verbs we now covered, but just several of them. And next time you will be introduced to a new class, the so-called hollow verbs, or verbs with the second vav or yud, and they have different rules of declensions. Okay, now let's continue. Or if you have any questions, you can ask. And in your lesson exercise and your other exercises, you will have many exercises just to practice with the imperative, with the weak verbs. So I hope you will be able to get it. Now, one more thing that we need to discuss. This is imperative with paragogic hey, Kametz hey. It doesn't occur very often, but according to somebody, I don't remember where I took this information, these forms occur 242 times in the Hebrew Bible. But this imperative, the meaning of this imperative is difficult to explain. Sometimes people say that it is a kind of urgent imperative. So when you want to say something very, very urgent command, sometimes it is used. Or some grammarians say, no, it is just a matter of euphony, so a matter of sound. Some people say that it sounds better with the Kametz hey in the end. So sometimes imperative is made by adding this Kametz hey to the form. For example, you can see it here. Vayomer Yaakov el Aviv. And Jacob said to his father, Anohi Esau, I am Esau, Bekorecha, your firstborn. Asiti ka asher dibarta elai. I have made according to what you said to me. Kum, it is also a kind of imperative. Na is a polite particle, like please. We can translate it as please. So kum na. Kum is stand up, raise up. So raise up, please. And now we have sheva ve ochla. And sheva is imperative shev, and shev means sit. But this imperative, do you see, has this Kametz hey in the end. So this is exactly the case of imperative with paragogic Kametz hey. And ochla is also the same. And here we have Kametz Hatuf, and it should be pronounced as O, not as A, because in the imperative we always have this. So this Kametz hey, when it is added to the root, it because of that, the reduction of vowels takes place, and that is why we have here not tsere as it's supposed to be, but sheva. And here we also have not compound sheva, but we have Kametz Hatuf, and it is pronounced as O. So is it clear? But we will not have it very often, but sometimes it happens. The imperative with the paragogic Kametz hey. And one more very, very tricky issue, and this is the imperative with the pronominal suffixes. The imperative with the pronominal suffixes. So what we have here, the pronominal suffixes, as you already understood, could be added to anything, almost to anything. And they also could be added to the imperative. And now we have to be very careful with the pronominal suffixes because sometimes you can confuse several words of the several forms of the word. For example, shema nu, it could be easily confused with the perfect, with the pronominal suffix. Do you see?
Yes,
so
yes.
Listen to us, or he listened to us. So we just have to be very, very careful. Yes.
Is it the Shiwa that gives it away, Prof?
Yes, the Shiwa tells us that this is imperative. Horgeni. Okay, horgeni. Okay, do you see? This is not Kametz, but this is Kametz Hatuf. Horgeni. kill me. And usually we will have this tsere as a joining vowel. Is ru ni. Help, but this help would be a second masculine plural. Help me. Okay. So this is, and you will also have an exercise with the pronominal suffixes added to the imperative. Yes, just a minute. I would like to show you. I didn't translate it to the. Okay, I will add this information to you. I have it, but I have it in Russian. And I will translate and I will. So do you see, this is just an exercise. This is just an exercise to discern between imperative and perfect. And because like, for example, here, so don't pay attention to Russian text. Metsa u ni, and these forms are homonyms. So it could be translated either as imperative or as a perfect. Imperative with the pronominal suffix or as a perfect with the pronominal suffix. So some forms are like homonyms. And usually what can help us, this vowel tsere, it is a vowel that shows that this is imperative. And here, shevachia, but shevachia is not always an indicator, because if the pronominal suffix is added to the perfect, we will also have shevachia. Okay, but I will explain it to you a little bit later. But now I don't want to make it very complicated for you. So we just need to remember that the pronominal suffixes can be added to the imperative as well. Okay, so now we need to. I need to tell you a little bit about this form, jussive and cohortative. So what is jussive? Jussive is a kind of command given to the third person. For example, if I want to say somebody to do something, but he is not present in the room, so I can give a command through somebody else. For example, I tell my son, please go and say, no, this may be. So I can say, let him or let her do this or that. He or she is not present, but I can give this kind of command, and it could be translated, jussive usually is translated as let or may. May him do this, or let him, her do this. So what also is very interesting, very often it could be the form of very polite advice. For example, if I speak to a king, it is very difficult for me to give a command to a king, because he is a king who can give an order to him. In this case, in ancient Hebrew, they usually use jussive. So, for example, they say, let king do this and this. So they address to the king and they say, let you, or let king do this and this. And they did it in the form of jussive, So usually, for the most of the verbs, the form of jussive is the same as the form of imperfect or yictol. Only for the verbs with the third hey, they have a different form. They have a shortened form. But for everybody else, for all other verbs, the form of Jasif is the same as the form of Yictol. So only the context can help us to understand which form is used. And sometimes the difference between Yictol and Jasif is so minimal. So it is very difficult to notice it. So it is just very subtle, and you can just translate sometimes both forms are the same. So the form of Jasif for the verbs of the third hey is third hey disappears and Jasif will have a shortened form. But for everything else, it will be the same. So Yictol, the form of Yictol will be the form of Jasif. Okay, now just several examples. Ve'yiten lecha ha'Elohim mit tal hashamayim. Tal is a dew. Ve'yiten. So here it is translated, may God give you. Yiten is from Natan, to give. Ve'yiten. So do you see? This is a kind. This is imperfect, but this is Jasif, and it is translated as may. So if it is translated as imperfect, it will be God will give you. God will give you. But because it is a form of Jasif, it is a kind of Jasif, so it's better to translate may God give you from the dew of the heaven. Or so that she may give birth on my knees. Vatelet al birchai. Vatelet. And she will give birth on my knees, and we can also translate it may or let her do this. Okay. Or Vayomer elecha shalach et beni ve ya'avdeni. And he said, Omar, no, and I say to you, Shalach, it is also imperative, but it is in PL stem, so you don't know it yet. Send my son, and he will serve me. So, or let my son go that he may serve me. So this is translation of one of the translations, biblical translations. But do you see, sometimes it's very difficult to see the difference between Jasif and imperfect. So you can translate it in this case, for example, release my son, or send away my son, and he will serve me, or and may he serve me. So is it clear? Do you have any questions about Jasif? So what you shall remember, that Jasif in most of the cases is the same as imperfect, as Yictol. And only the context can help you to understand what form is this. And cohortative. And cohortative is a kind of command to the first person. Cohortative is a command to the first person. Of course, I cannot give command to myself. So that is why it is also translated usually with the expression, let me go, let me do, or let us do. So sometimes it is a kind of a request or an appeal to all people to do something together. For example, echteva, let me write. And cohortative is done by adding kamezhei. It is added, the suffix is added to to the form. But what is the difference between imperative with paragogic noun and cohortative? Cohortative is always a form of the first person. So it is imperfect of the first person, and to this imperfect is added kamezhei. So in this case, we have cohortative. Or nicht va, let us write. And do you see here we have it clear? Nelecha ahare Elohim aharim. So let us go after the foreign gods or other gods. El na hasadeh. Let me go to the field. So this is a cohortative. So cohortative is very easy to discern because it is the first imperfect or yictol, the first person of yictol. With the kamezhei, it will be always cohortative. And one issue is negative commands. So negative commands is done in two ways in Hebrew, and we need to understand the difference between them. So for example, if the command has a temporary character, so it's not an absolute prohibition. They usually use al and a second person jasiv. For example, al tishlehu.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes, yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Now, what is the difference between jasiv? The difference between jasiv and cohortative?
Okay. So jasiv is a command to the third person. Let him.
No, I just want to see. I want to see its features that makes me know this is jasiv and this is cohortative. So.
No, jasiv and cohortative is very easy to discern. So no problem with this. Jasiv is the command to the third person. So it is done when you take the form of imperfect or yictol, third person, and it will be either jasiv or imperfect. Okay? It could be either this or that. Cohortative is the command to the first person. Let me do this, or let us do this. You understand? So it's not a problem to discern between jasiv and cohortative. It's very easy. The only thing that is very difficult to discern is between jasiv and imperfect, because usually the form is the same, and just context can help us to identify what form is implied. Yes, what is your question?
Okay, I just wanted to know the difference by looking at the words.
Okay, so let me do like this. So let us try to translate, for example, the expression let him go. Let him go to the city. So how can we do this? Let him go. It will be jasiv. So to go is a halach. Okay. Let's make it imperfect. Yelech is imperfect. So if I want to say let him go to the city, it will be Yelech be'ir. And we can translate it in both ways. Let him go to the city, or he will go to the city. And only the context can help us to identify which translation is correct. Okay, now let's do the same. with the cohortative. Let me go to the city.
We use the icto suffix kamet hey.
And here it is clear because first of all, it is the first person, elech. It is not the third person. And it has kametzhei suffix,
Hey.
elecha. Or let us try to do, oops, wow, sorry, I just wanted to, let's try to do it, let us go to the city. Imperfect will be nelech, nelech. So cohortative will be ne, le, ha. Let us go be'ir. So it will be cohortative. Cohortative is very easy to discern because this kametzhei will unmistakably tell us that this is a cohortative. Is it clear?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's come back to the negative commands. And negative commands, as I told you, there is a difference if we want to say something which is not a temporarily prohibition or absolute prohibition. So in this case, we use al with the second person passive, but second person passive in most of the cases it will be second person imperfect or yikto. So for example, ve yad al tishlehu bo, but do not lay a hand on him. Okay, tishlehu is shalach is verb, send. Do not send. If we translate it literally, do not send the hand upon him or on him. So this is a temporary prohibition. So don't do it right now. It doesn't mean that you should never do this, but in this particular moment, you shouldn't do this. So don't do this. So how can we say do not go? How to say do not go? Let's make a board. So we have halach, to go. Halach, to go. Imperfect will be yelech. Yelech should be second person will be telech. Okay. So if I want to say do not go, I need to say
Al telech.
al telech. Al telech.
Does it make a difference if the makef is there or not?
No difference, but sometimes, yeah, al is very often comes with the makef, so it will very often it will be joined with the makef. but there is no difference. Okay, so it is clear. So if you want to say just temporary prohibition, we need to say al plus second person jussive, which is in most of the cases will be imperfect or ictal. Yes. If I want to say a prohibition which is has a permanent character, so another form is used. In this case, another particle law is used, and the imperfect is used. And we can find this form of prohibition in the Decalogue. So do not steal, do not commit adultery, do not kill. All these words are done like this: law plus imperfect. So this is a kind of permanent prohibition. And technically speaking, this kind of prohibition, and sometimes even people try to interpret Decalogue in this way. So they say that it is not a prohibition or imperative as we usually translate it. But if you translate it verbally, literally, it will be, you will not kill. You will not commit adultery. So it is not just like a prohibition, but it is a kind of, I don't know how to explain it better. It is kind of promise, so that if you are in the covenant with myself, so you will not kill, you will not commit adultery, because you are in the covenant. And but on the other hand, there is no other way in Hebrew to express this kind of permanent prohibition, only this way. So that is why I think that a translation it as an imperative is also possible, and it's legitimate. Okay, so do you have any questions so far?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I just want to know if permanently, if you have to say prohibition, you have to do it like this form.
If what? If
you want to say to use a prohibition, the only way to do that it's with this form, with law and the verb.
Yes. There are two ways how it is done: al or law. And al is usually a temporary prohibition, so it's not a total prohibition. So it means like today you shouldn't go. Don't go today. But tomorrow maybe you can go. But if we speak about the absolute prohibitions, so they use law plus imperfect. You will never do this. You will not do this.
For the case in Exodus 20, you can translate by "you will not kill," but if you want, you have to use a permanent prohibition. It's the only way to do that.
Yeah, there are only two ways how we can do this.
You cannot. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, and one more issue, but actually we already discussed it last time. This is directive hey. And directive hey, do you see this kametz hey ending is very, very common in Hebrew. So they like to put it in many cases. And we need to distinguish between different usage of this kametz hey. So it could be a directional or directive hey. So when it shows the direction, for example, arza means, I don't have examples, oh, sorry. Arza means to the land, habaita to the house, ha'ira to the city. Arza, so, but it doesn't have an accent. Okay, so I hope this is clear, because we already use it, and it seems it was not difficult for it was not a problem for you. Any other questions so far? If you do not have questions, yeah, one more thing I forgot to do with you.
So for
is
example, Prof,
examples.
excuse me. No, I just wanted to see if my example would be correct. So if you say to the to Israel, you would say Yisraelah.
Do you see, Israel is never used as a geographical location. So they usually
okay.
use Eretz Israel.
Or Eretz.
Yes.
So it's going to be Eretz is Yisraelah.
Arza Israel. So Lech Arza Israel. How you translate it? Lech Arza Israel.
Because I remember when in one of our translations, it had Eretz Mitzrayma. Mitzrayim.
Yeah, Mitzrayma. Yes.
Okay, so it can happen with other places, just not for Israel.
Yes, yes. But I have never met Israel, because you see, Israel in the Hebrew Bible is the name of the person and the name of the nation. It is not. It is not the geographical location.
I understand.
But Mitzrayim is the name of the geographical location. That is why Yerushalayim. You can say Yerushalayma.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it makes sense. No problem. Thank you.
Okay. So if you want, we can consider also the translation of the those everyday how to say everyday verses from the Bible that I sent you last week. So by the way, did you enjoy it?
Prof, if I have to be honest, like I said earlier on, my week was hectic.
You are busy,
I didn't get to enjoy doing it, but I'll try my best this week.
Okay, I will continue sending to you these verses from the Bible.
Okay.
If you don't mind. And I saw that some of you were involved in the translation, and you tried to do this, and you sent me emails, and I really appreciate it. And I tried to answer all those translations, all your attempts to translate. So, and I think it is nice, and like every day, you will never forget about Hebrew, and you will practice it. And what is most important, you will be translating the real sentence from the Bible. So shall we discuss the sentences that were sent last week, or it is okay?
Prof.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, we
so
can do it.
We shouldn't do it. Okay. So in this case, what we can do right now, we have about 20 minutes. I have another text.
So if I'm the only one who thinks we can do them, Prof. Unless everyone thinks we should skip them, it's okay.
Yes, I think what is important for us right now is try to translate the texts.
Okay.
Okay, I will now show you another text, and it will be your home task for today. So you will need to translate it, and we will have some questions to the text as we had last time. And this is text. It has many verbs with the first nun. Because as I told you, those verbs sometimes are tricky, and many people have some problems with them. Okay. But it also has some words maybe new for you. But anyway, on the way, all of them are included in your vocabulary. So you will have them in the vocabulary, and you will be able to translate it without any problem. So let's try to translate the title. Adam ve'Nachash. Adam is Adam. Oh, sorry, I didn't project it to you. Sorry. I open it on my computer and I thought that you can see it. Now you can see it, yes? Nahash is a serpent. Nahash is the serpent. So Adam venahash, it means Adam and the serpent. Okay, so the first sentence. Can you try to translate it? Or may I ask somebody first to read it? To read it first.
Vaita Elohim et beto gan.
Very well. So the first verb, vayita.
And God planted a tree
Well,
in, I don't know the following word.
gan is garden.
Betoch is in the middle.
Yes.
In the middle
And
of the
what
garden.
is the first word? The first word?
Is nata,
Nata. What does it mean?
to plant.
To plant. Very well. Very well. So can you put everything together?
And God and the Lord planted a tree in the middle of the garden.
Okay. Very well. Next one.
The Lord said,
Vayomer Elohim. Vayomer Elohim El Adam.
Very well.
And
Just
God
stop here.
said
Okay.
to Adam.
Continue.
And God said to Adam.
Very well. Continue, please. Read.
God said to Adam, "You will protect the tree."
Very well. Okay. So what is Titzor here?
Natsar.
From Natsar. Okay,
Yeah.
Natsar to protect. And
Protect.
Ata?
The
You.
pronominal.
You will protect the tree.
The
Very
tree.
well.
Protect the tree.
Again. Any questions?
No, Prof, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Vayelech
Mhm.
Nahash,
Nahash.
sorry. Nahash El Adam Vayishal Oto.
Mhm.
Adam answered and said,
No.
Mm-mm.
Vayelech. Just look at this verb. The first one.
hey, I was translating the following.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Vayelech Hanahash El Adam. So this word occurs very often. You need
Yes.
to recognize it immediately as you see it. Vayelech. Okay, let's try to understand. So what do we have? Vav,
Halak.
again.
And he went.
Halak. The root is
Halach.
halak.
Very well,
Mm.
halach. This is halach, to go.
To
Who?
go. And he went.
He went. Very well. Who is he?
Is Adam.
Not Adam. Hanachash.
And the serpent went
Mhm.
to Adam
And the serpent went to Adam.
and he asked him,
Yes, this is the root. What is the root?
Sha'al,
Sha'al. And he asked Oto, and he asked him.
him. Mhm.
Mhm. Okay.
What? What? My haya li. What?
What am I?
What am I?
No, not what am I. Just try to translate it word by word. Ma is what?
What
Yeah.
is?
The Lord.
No, it's not Adonai. It's the verb to be,
Yes.
but it is an imperfect.
Yahaya.
Victor.
No, it's not
No.
very close. It's just,
Mm.
oh yeah. Do you see ma yichye? This dagesh here is because
yeah.
ma is joined, but it is
Okay.
just imperfect.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just translate it literally. Ma yichye li. What?
What was I?
No. What will be
What will be?
Oh, what will be?
li?
Me.
To me.
To me, what will be to me? Okay.
If
If.
If.
Very well. If. I put it as a question mark, but of course you need to remember that
Yeah.
in Hebrew there is no kind
There's
of
no question.
Okay. Nagash is to approach.
Yes, very well. Nagash is to approach.
if I come to the tree,
Egash, the root is nagash.
If I approach the tree.
Yeah.
Yes. So what will be to me if I approach
If
the
I
tree?
approach, I come near, to come near. If I come
Yes.
near,
If I come near to the tree is also possible.
So
or
can
if I come
Prof,
near to the tree.
Yes.
if you smooth the translation, can you say what will happen to me? Or would that be too much?
Yes,
Or is
yes.
it okay? What will happen to me if I approach the tree? Okay.
Yes. It
No
will be
problem.
very well. Very well translation.
Okay, thank you. Via an Adam Vayomer.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam answered and said,
And Adam answered and said,
Mm-hmm.
Yigafer Elohim.
Mm-hmm. Yigafecha. Ha Elohim.
Igafecha Elohim.
The Lord will strike you.
Okay, very well. Yes, the Lord will strike you.
God. Is it not God? Because Elohim is God.
Yes, God.
God.
The God will strike you. Or taking into consideration our today topic, we can say that it could be not imperfect, but it could be adjustive. So if it is adjustive, how can we translate it? Let or may?
May God strike you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So both variants are possible, and only the context can tell us which variant is the correct one. Okay, next one.
Vaikash
Mhm.
Hanachash El Haetz Velo Nekafo Ha Elohim.
Mhm.
And the serpent
serpent
approached the
approached
tree,
the tree.
and God did not strike him.
So yes, very well, very well. And how do you see that it is him? Where is him here?
In Negash, Negafo,
Negafor.
yes.
This
The
one
Holem,
is
the Holem Vav.
yes.
is
So this one
creating a
is
third
pronominal
person.
suffix.
Yeah, this
Strike
is a pronoun.
him.
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Very well, very well. So, so you understand, and you will translate till the end of this. Or let us try one more sentence. We have several more minutes. There is a question, do we say God or the God will strike you, the presence of an article? Yeah, I think that both ways are correct in English, but in English, when we assume that it is the one God, we usually do not put article.
Yes. I was going to say, Prof, if you say the God, it would be best to translate the gods rather than the God if it's Elohim.
Yeah, so probably.
But if you translate it without the suffix, then without the article, then it's God will strike you.
Yeah, I think this is just a matter of how to translate it into English better. Yeah. Okay, so the next, it will be the last one for today. Vayish'al hanachash et Adam.
And the serpent answered Adam.
No, not answered. Answered is Anna.
Sorry, asked. Sorry. Asked. Sorry.
And the serpent asked
to
Adam.
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 And now it's very clear. It's very simple because everything is built on the repetitions.
What will be to me?
Yes.
If I touch
If I touch, very well. Naga is to touch. If I touch
of the tree.
What?
to the tree.
Peri is a fruit. Peri
If I
is
touch
a
the fruit
fruit.
of the tree.
Berry to the fruit of the tree.
So what will be to me if I touch the fruit of the tree?
Mhm.
Okay. So please.
I just wanted to indicate, Prof.
Yes, please.
In English, the L you can't translate to the fruit of the tree. You
Yes,
don't
you
touch
shouldn't
fruit, you
translate.
touch the fruit.
So
Mhm.
this is the difference, and this is idiomatic difference. So the usage of the preposition in every language is very idiomatic. So that is why, yeah, you shouldn't translate it into English. Okay, so you will have this text and you will translate it as you did last time. And you will have some questions and you will need to answer those questions in the quiz. So just to check that you have translated or you did this. And I hope you will enjoy. I will continue sending to you short verses from the Bible. And thank you for reminding about the schedule for the next year. I will do it today. So everybody of you will get it today. Okay, so any other questions? If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me in WhatsApp or through emails. And Pastor Neda, yes.
Pastor Lukwele here. Hello, Prof. How are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. I happen to be behind, and I'm a little bit behind and struggling. I need your help.
Okay, so how can I help you?
I attempted the exam, but in the exam, the translation is not reflecting in terms of the questions which I'm supposed to translate.
Okay, again. I didn't understand what was.
There's a question that is in the, is it number 77, which is requiring us to translate. Now the characters are not there for me to translate.
What is
I'm
not
not
there?
able to see anything. There are no features that I can translate, but the question requires me to translate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you see, for this assignment, I did it as a picture. I did it as a picture because, do you see, I noticed that sometimes if I do it just as a text, the text could be distorted by the browser. But if it is a picture, so picture usually is displayed normally because it is a picture. So that is why I did it as a picture, and I don't know why it is not shown to you.
Yeah, that is my challenge.
Okay. So this is the only problem that you have?
For now,
No,
I can
no.
say,
Even for me.
You have the same problem?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for reporting this problem to me. What I will try to do, in this case, I will try to provide two versions. So I will try to provide the text for those questions and the picture as well. So you can see both of them. And if, for example, if the picture is not shown to you, but I hope the text could be shown to you. And because of that, you were not able to translate it properly. So can you just send me through email or through WhatsApp a message with your names, and I will delete your attempts that you failed because of this problem.
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So any other issues that you would like to raise?
Maybe just one. Since I'm still behind, and at the same time, last week's lesson, I just downloaded it and I was going through it. I've not yet written the quizzes that I'm supposed to attempt. I hope that you will be a little bit lenient on me on that one, so that I can be able to finish my assignment as well.
Yes, yes. So what I did and what I do usually, I do not close the quizzes.
Okay.
And I even do not close the module quiz right now. So I understand that some of you probably have like one difficult week, or somebody has a camp meeting or whatever. And that is why I just give you space for do this. Yes, but
Okay.
I hope we will be able to finish everything until December, because I don't want you to, I know that before the new year, before the Christmas, all of us are busy, and I don't want to make this class like class forever. I want also to finish it one day. And I
Yes.
hope till in the end of the class, you will feel that you got some knowledge, and the Hebrew Bible is not something difficult for you. You can translate it. And I see that some of you do very good progress, and I hope even those who are behind, they can catch up and they can succeed in this class. Okay, so may I ask Pastor Neema to pray in the end?
Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you very much for this wonderful time we had with our professor. Thank you for all the students that have managed to attend this class. Lord, in a very special way, we ask your Holy Spirit to help us to discern whatever we learn every day, and help us to be able to remember whatever we learned even in the previous lessons. We need to understand the Bible, and without this language, we may not get the real gist of what you wanted us to understand. So Father, as the professor is struggling to make sure that we understand, we ask your power to accompany his efforts so that we can understand and do well in our exams. But in a very special way, we also pray for the professor. We know how much time he takes to attend to our different answers and quizzes that we try to answer. May you bless him and give him mercy with his family, so that one day he may rejoice on the effortless work that he's doing upon us. As we'll be now engaging into our exercises and reading again what we have learned today, help us to understand so that we may do well throughout this week's module quizzes. I pray, trusting and believing in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you very much. Thank you. And I will send the vocabulary for Pastor Harry just in several minutes, and I hope he will be able to do it, and we will upload it to the module. Okay, so see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.